Hi, I'm Shanna Pizer. Welcome to You Can Worry Less. I am honored that you're spending this time with me. My hope for you is that you will find some relief, hope, encouragement, and that you start putting these teachings into practice and start worrying less, maybe even stop altogether. Anxiety, worry, fear. I chose to use the word worry in this video. I was going to use anxiety, but I know that some people have diagnosed clinical anxiety, and that is not what I'm talking about in this video. If this is the case for you, I hope that you are working with your doctor and or therapist to manage your anxiety through medications or behavior modification or a combination of them. I believe that the information that I present here can definitely help with anybody that has diagnosed clinical anxiety, but I know that there are other factors at play as well. So the Bible talks a lot about worry and anxiety. We're told not to be anxious about anything, but in prayer and petition with thanksgiving, make our requests known to God, and the God will give us the peace that passes understanding to guard our heart and mind in Christ Jesus. And we're told to think on things that are true and lovely and pure and noble and admirable and worthy of praise. And when we think on those things, the God of peace will be with you. I am going to talk about what worry is, how it's created, and why that is such good news for you. Let's start with the story. My youngest son left for Navy boot camp in November of 2020, and it hit me really hard. We were 8-ish months into the pandemic in America, and it was impacting the length of boot camp and added an extra level to that unknown mystery of boot camp. And we have become so used to being in constant communication with our people, 24/7 access. But when loved ones are in boot camp, not so much. I was super excited for my son to go into the Navy, all the opportunities that were in store for him, the places he would get to see, the things that he'll get to do. But all of that comes after boot camp. The first few days were really hard for me. I cried a lot. I worried a lot. I was on the verge of tears all the time. Why? I was so worried that he would be miserable, that people would be mean to him. I envisioned him crying himself to sleep at night. He was 21. I really worried that he was going to regret his decision of joining the Navy and then be stuck. Because once you take that oath and swear in, you don't get to change your mind. So, what is worry? Worry is an emotion or a feeling. And a feeling is a vibration that we have in our body. When we feel worry, we may experience a rapid heartbeat or tingly sensations or butterfly stomach, sweaty palms, a constricted chest. And our feelings drive our actions. We do or don't do things based on how we feel. Have you ever said, I don't feel like doing that, or I just have no motivation? Well, motivation is a feeling, and we want to feel motivated in order to do the things that we feel like we should be doing or want to be doing. And I don't know about you, but when I feel worried, it just leads to more worry. And the action that it creates looks like thinking of all of the possible negative outcomes, fixating on all of the things that are outside of my control. I avoid finding solutions. I might binge watch a TV show or get lost in a book. Worry can seem productive because it takes a lot of energy to think up all those worst case scenarios. Have you ever gotten your car stuck in the mud or snow? You press the gas pedal and the tire just spins and spins and just digs itself deeper in and more stuck. The gas, that energy is being used up, but it's not making any progress. It's not getting you anywhere. It's the same with worry. You're spinning out and using up all kinds of mental energy, but you aren't impacting the situation at all. And you feel worse and worse, more and more anxiety, fear, and helplessness. Okay, back to my story. I was spinning out in all of the worst case scenarios about what could possibly be happening in Great Lakes, Illinois. I had no idea what was happening. My worrying wasn't doing a thing to help my son. It wasn't keeping anything bad from happening. For all I know, he was having a great time, learning a lot, getting good sleep, making good friends. I was wearing myself out though, worrying. My worry wasn't helping him or me, but it was definitely having a negative impact on me. Okay, so where does worry come from? Worry is a feeling, and our feelings are created by our thoughts. The way we think determines how we feel. We think that it's a situation or a person that's making us feel worry or sad or happy or love, but really it's our thoughts about that situation or the person that's creating the way that we feel. This is great news. I'll get to that. When there's a situation that we're worried about, we believe that worry is the only option. Of course, I'm worried. My son is in boot camp. There are so many bad things that could be happening to him. Did you know that worry and anxiety have the same physiological responses? It creates the same physiological responses in our body that excitement does. Sweaty palms, rapid heart rate, tingles, butterflies, and that like sense of like contained energy. It's all getting you ready for action. Here is my favorite example of this. My sister and I think we've probably flown about the same number of times. And we have completely different feelings when we are headed to the airport. We could be in the same car, headed to the same airport to get on the same flight to the same location, and we are feeling completely different emotions. My sister is feeling anxious, dread. She has sweaty palms, rapid heart rate, butterflies in her stomach, pent up energy, and she is panicked. She's thinking of all the things that can possibly go wrong. I can't imagine how they get an airplane to stay up in the sky. What if it runs out of fuel? What if the pilot falls asleep? I'm going to crash and die on this airplane. So she's feeling panic while I'm in the seat next to her and I have sweaty palms, rapid heart rate, pent up energy, butterflies in my stomach, and I am excited. I love going to the airport. I love airplanes. I love airports. I get so excited even if I'm going to pick somebody up from the airport, I love going to the airport. I love watching planes land and take off. And when I get to go to the airport because I'm flying somewhere, I'm even more excited. I'm thinking of all of the possibilities of things that we're going to do. I'm excited to go wherever it is I'm going. I love seeing all of the different places that planes are going to and coming from. And I love the whole experience. I am feeling excited. My sister is feeling panicked. And our bodies are both doing the same exact things. So, Why is it good news that your thoughts create your feelings? Because you get to decide what you think on purpose. You can decide to have different thoughts about a situation than the ones causing you to feel worry or anxiety. I recommend asking yourself two questions when deciding what to think. One, is it true? And is it helpful? In order for a thought to be one that I want to keep, it has to be true and helpful. The answer to both questions needs to be yes. If the answer to either question is no, then I want to work on thinking a thought that is both. Back to my story. So, a few nights into my son being in boot camp, I woke up in the middle of the night and my heart was racing, my palms were sweaty. I had that pent up energy and butterflies in my stomach. And it was like I was worrying in my sleep, and the worry woke me up. And I immediately had the thought, I don't trust the Navy with my son. And then as I contemplated that, I asked myself those two questions. Is this true? It feels true. I don't trust the Navy with my son. Is it helpful? Not helpful at all. It wouldn't have been true to change my thought and think, oh, I trust the Navy with my son. He's fine. That wouldn't have felt true. So it wouldn't have been helpful. So it wasn't an option. But I do trust God with my son. God loves my son more than I can possibly imagine. He loves my son more than I love my son, which I can't even comprehend. And I can work on trusting the Navy with my son. Those thoughts were both true and helpful. And when I started thinking those thoughts on purpose, my anxiety level went down, my worry went down, and I started feeling comfort, hope, a willingness to consider other possibilities, not just the negative ones. So, our feelings are like indicator lights. When we notice we're feeling an emotion that feels bad, that's an indication that we need to pay attention to what's going on and what we're thinking about. It takes being intentional, paying attention to what is going on in our bodies, and then deciding whether or not we want to continue feeling that way, and if we're willing to make the effort to change. Now, sometimes we feel negative emotions and feelings, and we want to. We don't want to be happy when a loved one moves far away from us or a loved one passes away. It's appropriate to feel sad and grief, or maybe even anger in those situations. We go to sad movies because sometimes we want to feel sad. We go to scary movies because sometimes feeling afraid or that feeling of suspense is exciting. So sometimes feelings are appropriate. You get to decide. But when you're ready to stop feeling that negative feeling, you can pay attention to what you're thinking and work on making changes in your mind that will change the way that you feel. And sometimes it's really hard. But here's some good news. You, my friend, can do hard things. You, my friend, do hard things every single day. And this hard work is so worth it. I would love to hear how you put into practice the things that I've discussed today in your own life. I would love it if you sent me an email or messaged me on social media. And if you'd like to take a deeper dive into this work and how it applies to you in your own life, if you want to work on how to feel better and feel more positive emotions and be okay when you're feeling a negative emotion, and create feelings in yourself that drive actions that you want to be taken to create amazing results in your life, to reach goals that you've set for yourself, I would love for you to schedule a Right Fit call. You can ask me any questions and we can discuss how working together can help you to feel better and reach the goals that you want to reach. The link is below this video, and you'll also receive an email with the link. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I pray that you've heard some nuggets that you can put into practice right now in your own life and that you start feeling better each and every day.